Good Wednesday evening, and welcome back to another Go Mode Podcast Mentor Tournament Restream. We are in the dog days of summer now, and our playoff matchups are heating up. Tonight, we've got a Tempered Sword bracket matchup between number 7 seed Whitty against number 14 seed Thorneto. This is Game 2. Thorneto taking Game 1. We have an open seat for you tonight, and joining me in the booth tonight is Verts. How you doing, Verts?
Hey, I'm doing well, thanks. How are you doing, McMonkey?
I'm doing well. I'm excited for a semifinal matchup here. The winner of this matchup is playing for the right to face Nephistos in the Tempered Sword final, and the loser will face me in the third place game of the Tempered Sword bracket.
Nice. So you're getting a little bit of inside info here, it seems like.
Yeah, there might have been other reasons for why I signed up to do comms. I can get a first-hand look at a potential opponent here.
Very nice. And checking out our overlay, looks like Thorneto is up 1 game right now. So this is if Thorneto wins, he moves forward. And if Whitty wins, then he forces a Game 3, which could be very exciting.
Yeah, Game 3s are always a lot of fun. And we're off.
And we are off. There it is.
Both of our runners making an uncle start, although Thorneto just checking Link's house and saving and quitting, presumably to go over to Sanctuary.
Interesting. I haven't seen that particular move in a while, but that works. Like the soundtrack we've got on Whitty's side, very consistent with the sprite that he's using.
That's right, that sprite being Madeline from Celeste, and this sounds like the Celeste MSU pack. And on Thorneto's side, Samus sprite as always.
New and improved Samus sprite, I might point out.
Yeah, this one is clearly superior in just about every way. Although I do have a fondness for the Zero Suit Samus as well. So nothing panning out there on the Uncle route.
And all of the various bush crabs and tree pulls that we've seen so far, primarily money from the tree pulls. Thorneto found hearts from the bush crab, not too exciting. It was a really quick peek at that item in the lumberjack, but it looked like some rupees. I saw a number briefly. We have green pendant, eastern, blue crystal in desert, and red crystal in Hera. Nice early map check, I like that.
Yeah, it's always nice for us as commentators when they're kind enough to do an early map check.
Yes.
Thorneto was able to pick up a couple of bombs, and Whitty as well, so they won't have that worry going into Kakariko, and it looks like Thorneto is going to pick up a few more.
I think that's really reasonable. You know, you see 3 bombs there, you're going to need a lot of them in this game, so you might as well get them when you can.
And the tree pull being generous as well, giving out 20 rupees, so no worries about bottle merchant money. And now we're approaching a sync up despite the slight divergence in routing early.
Yeah, we'll be going into the village roughly at the same time here. So not a whole lot of difference. We'll see in the routing here. They have enough bombs to make it work, just going straight north to south.
Yeah, I imagine we'll see all of the usual early game checks, and we'll see what items we get from there. With Eastern Palace being a green pendant, it may incentivize them to go over and check Saha and perhaps do a tip of Eastern, knowing that they may not have to fully clear it. And so far, Blind's Hut not really delivering much of value beyond a couple of heart pieces. Well, Blind's Hut always pays off somewhat in rupees, but yeah, not paying off in terms of progression. That blind does like to stash his cash.
He is a thief, after all. Gotta hide your money somewhere.
dropping down into the well, we find our first progression item, and it's a nice one to have, the Moon Pearl.
It's really nice to get that early. Oh, a nice set of money, too.
Yeah, getting that Moon Pearl early means you can potentially skip some of the more out-of-the-way checks like Agina, Ice Rod Cave, some of the flipper checks. You can maybe leave those for later when they would be more efficient to route in, versus if you're short Moon Pearl, you have to really exhaust everything.
Bit of a con job with this bottle merchant today.
It is poor investment advice.
Indeed. You give me 100. Oh no, Thorneto. Thorneto is stuck. He will have to save and quit. So what happened there was as the bomb, I believe as the bomb blew up, Thorneto was picking up a chicken, and that caused him to be stuck in a chicken pickup state because the sprite never actually picked up the chicken. Chicken got blown away. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It happens. That's why I never pick up those chickens.
Yeah, it is the risk of the chicken clip, but the swag you get for doing the chicken clip far outweighs any soft locks you get into. So he'll pick up the route from the south side, checking Maze Race Library up into the Chicken Hut and Tavern, and meanwhile Whitty is going to pull ahead a little bit and go right down and check Maze Race before grabbing the item.
Yeah, Thorneto's just going to go for it. And do his map check as well. Thorneto with his frustration pull there.
Yeah, interesting choice to go right into the Maze Race, despite already being down off the ledge. It doesn't really save you any more time.
Yeah. Yeah, he might be feeling like, well, I messed up the chicken clip, you know, it's just 20, you know, feel kind of bad about it now. But, you know, you feel like when you mess something up like that, you might as well take a chance on something.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, and we'll see if that affects his routing or decision-making going forward. It's not much of a time loss, but I think the impact on his mentality might be bigger than the impact on his time.
Yes, yes, that's certainly possible, especially early on. So the library is interesting. We haven't pointed this out yet. It was a bow in the library. And Whitty also got the blue cane from the dam. So, you know, some interesting items here.
Yeah, that bow is certainly interesting, especially if it's the logical first bow in the seed. That would be good news for the runners because it means they'll be getting boots sooner rather than later.
And also, we missed out on noticing the ice rod as well in the tavern. We're so busy focusing on the chicken clip, missed out on that.
Such is the power of the chicken clip, but our tracker VinceEaster is all over it.
Yes, indeed. Whitty's having some trouble with these bombs in Mini Moldarm Cave. We'll switch over to blue cane. Reasonable. Nice bomb drop there.
Yeah, very nice that the Moldorms are in the bomb pool, so he can kind of safely try to get these bomb shots.
Oh, man, the tightness of this toss when you're on the right side is really tough. There you go. Nice.
Nice, and a 2-for-1 in the end.
All right,
there.
and he gets it. Very nice. And gets some bombs for his trouble. And the mirror as well. That is quite nice. And the fire rod. Okay.
I have been leading the campaign to rename this to the Real Hype Cave. It pays off way more often than Hype Cave does.
Yes. This is going to be a tricky walk for Whitty. Anything here could really take him out, especially those crabs. Crabs do 2 hearts of damage on green mail, so this is a pretty dangerous walk he's going on.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Thorneto on the right here, he's going up to Agina, which is, you know, it's not very often the route that you'll see people take, but again, maybe he's looking for an edge here after having given up, you know, a minute or so on the chicken clip.
Yeah, also decides to show us the desert ledge as well. I personally, I used to do that a lot when I would walk over to Agina, I would check desert ledge, but I decided to not do it anymore based on some advice where if you don't have the book, it kind of doesn't matter what's over there. And it's, you know, it's potentially a time loss. But what's not a time loss is going to Ice Rod Cave and getting your glove. That's quite nice for Whitty.
Yeah, the dodging of the crabs pays off in a big way there. And he's going to pick up the little bit of money he needs to go do the flipper checks and see King Zora. He'll have to be careful swimming through the gauntlet, but he'll have Zora money.
Yeah, I think that's, it's a reasonable play. You have Moon Pearl, so if you fake flipper, oh, okay, that's interesting. All right. Curious now how they're going to do that.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the rationale would be for getting the Zora money there and then bailing on the flipper checks.
Yeah, it might just be changing their mind.
Yeah, having picked up the glove, it makes sense to check back of escape.
Yeah. I've done that plenty of times where, I start doing something and then realize, like, why am I doing this? So can't blame people for that.
Absolutely not. So the back of escape today has a whole lot of nothing.
A lot of bombs, just explosives. And Thorneto, meanwhile, is going to show us Sahasrara. Well, that was an interesting way to blow that wall up, but
yeah,
hey, rewarded with a sword and some more money and heartpiece.
Testing out the power armor, perhaps.
Yes. And it's funny, Samus is never affected by the bombs that she drops, and yet in this game she is.
It must be the lack of the morph ball.
Yes.
All right, it looks like Whitty's going to follow for Thorneto, although he's up a glove and a back of escape check here.
Yeah, for these particular checks, the glove does not matter too much, but we know that Thorneto is going to need to go over to... Oh, okay, Whitty. Whitty's being a little brave here and skipping out on Eastern. I think that's reasonable. He's got a glove, he's got the mirror. Might be thinking front of escape, looks like. Or
yeah, although...
front of escape or mountain climb for this. But mountain climb is definitely out of logic. But you can be brave.
You can. I think at this early juncture, they want to stay in logic because they know that they're either going to get a lamp and a cape or a lamp and a sword, or they're going to get the hammer that they need in order to get Dark World access, hammer or Titan's Mitts. So going out of logic at this point is only going to delay their Dark World access one way or the other.
Yeah, this is potentially true. A little bit of trouble there, but it clears out that room on Whitty's side.
Yep, meanwhile, Thorneto working their way through the Eastern Palace checks.
Nice Stalfos room from Thorneto. Took a little bit of extra time to, wow, okay. That's a nice flute to get.
Yeah, and so now going up the mountain, seems to be the right play one way or the other. If Whitty decides to sequence break it, we know that it's easily in logic, so it could be the right play after all. Although he'll want to get that lamp sooner or later. Lamp. I said lamp. I meant flute.
I understand. I got you. We got some dark room action over on Thorneto's side. If you want to learn all about dark rooms, you can listen to the most recent episode of the Go Mode podcast as well. Talk all about that.
That's right. Are you afraid of the dark?
Fortunately, no. All right, and it looks like there is an item in the Dark Cross because we found the map already in the castle, and we got a key from the sanctuary. So there is an item over in the Dark Cross, and Whitty's going to go for it. He has the fire rod, so might be able to take care of that easily. These aren't terrible dark rooms, honestly, but they can be a little bit scary.
Yeah, and with the
If you
fire
are,
rod,
like-
you could light all of them up along the way. Whitty
Yeah.
choosing not to. Usually, most of these guys are going to be going all the way to the chest room before they light it up.
Yeah, the main thing that's scary about dark rooms is you can't see, and that, you know, as long as you know your way through or you have a map, you'll be a bit more comfortable. Or you have the fire rod, you do that. Unfortunately, it pays off with money, and that's all.
Yeah, and so Thorneto's on his way back to the village to activate his flute, and then I imagine we'll see him go up the mountain and do those first couple of checks.
Yeah, the nice thing about the mountain right now, unfortunately, Thorneto doesn't have the mirror yet, so that's, you know, going to be kind of a cost for them. Whitty's going to instead go sequence break the mountain, and we'll be able to go to Tower of Hera. Problem is, they'll be thinking this is a sequence break, but it's not.
Yeah, so an interesting scenario. Thorneto could go and clean up Ice Rod Cave before going up the mountain, which would get them their mirror.
Yep, there they go.
Sorry, Mini Moldor and Ice Rod Cave both.
Yes. Yes, those will both be quite valuable. It's very interesting when you see runners, you know, kind of end up in the same place, but for very different reasons.
Yeah, it seems to happen a lot in early light world routing.
Yeah, I think it kind of comes down to where are your items. Like I've seen seeds where, you know, it kind of funnels you in one direction and you can't really do much about it. And then there's ones like this where kind of, you know, you have a little bit of an option of which way to go. Seed also nice enough to give us a fire source for Hera if we need it.
Yeah, so Hera full clearable now, and with the sword, we'd have a NMG Moldorm fight. Not the greatest, but that sword sitting up on Spectacle Rock will make it a little easier.
Yes, that'll be quite nice. If you do sword spins with Master, it's going to be 3 spins total, which definitely speeds it up a bit. Not quite as nice as having a hammer or tempered sword, but you know, you take what you can get. That is an excellent warp sound effect.
Yeah, I like that quite a bit. Yeah, and Thorneto indeed cleaning up the checks that he missed. So he's got his glove, mirror, and fire rod now.
Yeah, I think that's entirely reasonable. You know, you're going to do those at some point, so might as well do them now before you... Oh, okay. Ah, fake flipper. No. Meanwhile, Whitty gets a hammer. That is quite nice.
Yeah, that's his Dark World access.
Yeah. Also makes this upcoming boss fight a lot nicer.
For sure,
and
yeah.
we get to have a coffee break in the basement. Unfortunately, without the hook shot, we can't do Harapot if these two folks can do the Harapot.
I believe both of these runners are capable of Harapot, but as you said, it's probably not going to come into effect today.
Yes. Well, Thorneto, and this is the item. Oh, he got Ether. Ether was on Hobo. Had a little bit of trouble setting up the reverse fake flipper out of the Hobo, but he gets it and is on the way to.
Yeah, we can forgive
check out
that with
Zora.
how quickly he set up the regular fake flipper. He did that first try without
Yeah.
even a pause.
That was quite good. That was quite good.
Oh, getting through the whirlpool right before that mini Zora shot a fireball at him.
Yeah, those can be quite brutal.
It's easy to get comfortable doing the fake flipper and forget all about the fact that you're one hit KO while in that state.
Mm-hmm. Our tracker, VinceEaster, pointing out that we have not seen the peak at Lake Hylia Island. I think that Thorneto peeked at it on their way to Eastern. So he knows what's on there, but I did not see what it was. Unfortunately.
And yeah, there are no mentors for the rest of the tournament. Here on out, semifinal and final, all of our runners are mentorless. They've learned all they can learn this year in the mentor tournament, and they've been released into the wild to make do as they can.
Cool. Thorneto got quite lucky there. Was in a water walk state, got hit by a Zora fire, and was fortunately on the light water versus the dark water.
Yeah, so what happens when if he had landed on the dark water after that hit?
So if you are on, so with water walk, if you're on dark, I think if you're on dark water and land in dark water, it resets you to your most recent position. So if you were on dark water, got knocked into dark water, then you're kind of stuck walking. You kind of just stay in the same spot. That's not great.
So he would have been left with another soft lock in that case.
Yeah, you just kind of continually jump into the dark water. You know, it's possible that you're close enough to light water that you can hop out, but I've been in a situation where I could not. It was not great.
Meanwhile, blink and you miss it. Whitty taking down Moldorm for his first crystal. That was a very quick fight.
Very well done. Yes, indeed. We've got Thorneto saving the old man from his dark cave. I feel kind of bad for this old man, just like wanders into this cave and loses his lamp.
Yeah, you want to feel bad for the old man. Go watch some of Kern's blindfolded playthrough, then you feel really bad for the old man.
And got Thorneto kind of chasing here. It's an interesting position because Thorneto, you know, if you're like just coming in, it might look like Thorneto is a little behind because he's kind of following. But Thorneto is ahead with with ether and with the flute. So those are nice things to have there.
Yep, and we got a peek at the floating island, just a piece of heart up there. Yeah, and Thorneto already with the riot shield.
Yep, that mirror shield there definitely will help out when we get to Turtle Rock. Until then, it just kind of negates any kind of fire shots. Woody, be careful. Thank you.
Yeah, and adds a bit of lag, unfortunately, but assuming both runners pick up the same shield, that should cancel out.
Yes, and that will likely be the case.
There are some things that can be done to mitigate the lag, but for the most part, I think they'd end up on average with about the same amount. Yes, and we're in Game 2 of the semifinal here. We can see on our nice new semifinal overlay that Thorneto has already collected one Triforce. If he collects the second one, he will move on to the finals.
And Whitty's saving and quitting after getting their Cane of Samaria. That's quite nice to get. I imagine Whitty will be going to the Dark World at this point.
Yeah, no reason not to. They've got everything they need to get to the Dark World. They've cleared out the east side of Death Mountain, and I imagine they're trying to avoid Eastern, at least until they have the bow that they know of on Library.
Oh, another good track here for Dark World. Alright, we got blue crystals on the right side. Let's see.
So we got Mire and Skullwood pendants and a red crystal on ice.
Yeah. It's too bad about Mire since we got early red cane, but it's okay.
Yeah, that red cane will still come in handy for Total Rock Ice Palace, and the good news is when they make their way up to Village of Outcasts, they can full clear both of those crystal dungeons. I'm sorry, full clear the Thieves Town crystal dungeon, They could dip Skullwoods if they want, but it's been today.
Yeah, Vortex Doom pointing out this is potentially fluteless seed. You don't, unless we need to get something in Mire, you don't really need the flute, which is really the only advantage that Thorneto has right now. Logically, we know that we likely required that that flute to get to the mountain, but you never know.
All right, and Whitty taking their book and going right over to the Bombos tablet.
Yep, I think that's reasonable. You have Master Sword, you're here right now. You will likely come back later, but you might as well do it right now. Try to make use of the progression that you get. Someone asking, we did see Lumberjack earlier. It looked like just some money. I believe just one runner checked it, to my knowledge.
Yeah, and interesting here, Whitty choosing to hop down. He's going to go over to Agina. I imagine he'll go into Desert Palace afterwards with that same book. He'll at least get possible. That blue mail. It's possible that Desert is full clearable. We'll have to see if we need boots.
Yeah, they're going to save and quit instead. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I personally would have gone in just to like gamble it if I'm already over there. But you know,
once choosing to get rid of the Dark World portal, I think I would have probably gone into Desert Palace. Yeah, an unfortunate fall by Thorneto, getting bullied by Moldorm.
We got Whitty's going to make the play over to Village of Outcasts.
Moldorm is not cooperating with Thorneto the way he did with Whitty.
Thorneto remembering to get that hammer out. Very nice to get that. It's very convenient placement, like we discussed before. Nice, there we go. Tricky thing when you have Master Sword is if you get a single swing in, it makes it really tricky.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because
he will go into his enraged phase.
Yeah, and I don't know of anybody who enjoys that final enraged phase.
Oh no, it is the worst. It's an interesting race to see. You know, we've got two runners in very different places right now. Some different items. It might come down to like, do you need the flute? Do you need ether? It is hard to say who's in the lead, but Whitty is going to be running in the near future here because he got those boots.
Yeah, it seems to me like Whitty's routing is a little more scattered than Thorneto. Thorneto's being a bit more thorough in his routing, and so Whitty is getting to more areas to check, but Thorneto seems to be more deliberate and thorough about checking the areas he's going to.
Yeah, and it's always kind of tough to say which is, quote, better, because there's going to be races where thorough wins out. There's going to be races where scattered wins out.
Yeah, for sure, and it certainly depends on where all the items are. So those boots are good news for Whitty. He can work his way through Thieves Town here, work in Village of Outcasts, and before heading down to Dig Game, he can mirror over and grab that bow that he needs to finish Pod.
Yeah, a thing worth noting about boots. So if you have played this game and you have gotten to, if you've played pretty much through an entire seed without boots, and you are used to playing, doing an NMG speedrun, you might find, man, this game feels weird without boots, because you get really used to strats that require boots. So it's definitely nice to get those if you are familiar with the base speedrun for the game. This kind of helps your muscle memory a little bit.
And I think finding them a little earlier helps as well, because I've talked to a couple runners about the problem of getting boots late and just sort of forgetting that you have them for the rest of the run.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And Whitty getting a little beat up by these Patrick stars in here. Good call.
Yeah, pulling out the cane. I like that. Get through the
Never
hellway.
be ashamed.
I believe he's sitting on a red potion. Yeah, and he's going to pull it out right
Yep.
now.
That makes sense. I do not blame him for that at all.
No, the prospect of facing these crickets with half a heart is very daunting.
Mhm.
So Thorneto heading back maybe to take care of Spike Cave while he's here? Or he's going back into here? I'm not sure what he's going back
confused.
in for. Oh, a death warp to get more health maybe than into Spike Cave?
Yeah, sure. I buy it. I see it now.
Yeah, it could be tight with only single magic bar and 4 hearts.
Yeah, it is. It's possible. It's pretty hard. If you have a bottle, it's a little bit more achievable, but it's just going to be pretty tight. Ooh,
yeah, if you
boy.
have the boots
right,
or the hook shot or a bottle, any number of things would make this easier. It's going to be close.
I don't know if it's going to work out.
Oh, saved by the bell.
Oh my god. I've never been quite so stressed out by a player's moves.
Yeah, that was fun.
It unfortunately did not pay off from what I could tell, but I was very stressed out, and it was cool to watch.
It was just 20 rupees, yeah.
Yeah. All right, we got Whitty going into our blind fight with 3 hearts. Can be a little stressful. Got plenty of magic for a blue cane finish, though, if they need it.
Yeah, probably hoping to get through the first couple of phases here before breaking out the blue cane. And he does really so masterfully.
That's really great first 2 phases. Nails it. That's really good.
Yeah, that was great
really
on 3 hearts.
You can tell he's putting in the practice there.
Yeah, I think all the runners in this tournament have really been putting in the hours practicing. The overall skill level has just gone up significantly over the course of the tournament, and it's showing in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
I think we'll need to start a pool to find out how many of the Mentor Tournament alum will make it into the main tournament this year.
I had kind of a similar thing for the crew from last year. A lot of people put their hats in the ring at least to try to get in. It's tough competition out there. I'll say that. I sat out this year just because of some life stuff going on, but I was definitely happy to cheer on my former competitors.
Yeah,
get
absolutely.
A nice bow here. Whitty with the bow, and that means he could do a few things. You can finish out the... all right, I'm not exactly sure where you're going here.
I'm perhaps going to check Sick Kid, which he ran by without checking.
That is good. I did not catch that they didn't do that.
So heading back into their portal, they'll finish up Dig Game, Stumpy, and Cave 45, and meanwhile Thorneto just starting their Village of Outcasts route.
Yeah, you can kind of see how big of a difference having boots makes here. Whitty skipped a couple of things that Thorneto has done, and so that and getting the boots definitely adds to that lead. It's kind of hard to say. We're 33 minutes in right now, so it's hard to say Whitty's in the lead. But they've done a few checks and things that Thorneto has not.
Yeah, and if boots were somewhere more exotic, where Thorneto might not find them soon, then you'd start to worry about this lead building up for Whitty. But I imagine after checking front of Skullwoods here, Thorneto is just going to head right down, grab those boots in the chest game, and he'll be able to at least keep pace.
Mm-hmm. So a bit of an interesting divergence here. Thorneto deciding to check the front of Skullwoods. You know, I think reasonable. There are okay. He does not have magic. I see. Yeah, there are plenty of times where the front of Skullwoods has things.
Yeah, more often than you would think, based on the analysis that I've seen. It has
really good memory there from Thorneto.
Yeah, absolutely. Grabbing that fairy. I think Skullwoods is one of the highest on the list of places to have progression in V31.
All right, I'm thinking that Whitty is going to Desert at this point because it is full clearable now that you have boots.
And interesting,
sure
Thorneto
why
going to the back of Skullwoods.
But out of magic again. So so a couple of options here. You can go to the back of the room on the right. I hope they know about this. The room on the right here, where the vanilla big key chest is, you can bomb a hole in the wall and you can get some magic from it. Not from that pot though. They don't know. Okay, that's unfortunate.
And I believe that even the small magic that they grabbed, it'll respawn when you exit the dungeon and go back in.
It does indeed. So it's unfortunate that they are missing out on that.
They may end up saving them in the end, going back and doing the moth fight in the bridge chest. This may just end up saving him time.
Yeah, I imagine their thought process was, oh no, I can't get to the back. Let me get some magic. Wait, maybe I don't want to do this. That's fine. You know, I think he's making a reasonable play here.
Yeah, Desert was indeed boots locked, so had Whitty decided to go in earlier, he would have been locked out.
Yeah. Kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier, I think this kind of highlights how Thorneto is a bit more thorough in his checks, definitely clearing out as much as he can wherever he goes, whereas Whitty is kind of making decisions about, like, you know, I'm not going to go into Skullwoods, I'm going to skip that for now. I'm not going to go into Eastern, I'm going to quote sequence break the mountain, even though we know it's not really a sequence break.
Yeah,
so it's kind of interesting.
Taking on some calculated risks, and they're working so far in this seed.
And just a reminder, as you're watching this, this is game 2 of this series. Thorneto is ahead 1 game, so Whitty is fighting to stay alive in the tournament. Hopefully, hopefully for the fans watching, hopefully Whitty can force a game 2, because it will be fun and interesting to see that.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the winner of this matchup goes on to face Nephistos in the final. So Whitty finishing up the front of Desert Palace. He's going to go down and grab his blue mail.
Yes. And then go finish the dungeon. It looks like Thorneto is going to commit to going to the back of Skullwoods. Did not get the items they were hoping for here, so they're going to go for it.
Yeah, really interesting decision for a pendant dungeon to put in this amount of work to clear it out. Particularly with a crystal dungeon and all of those of outcasts available.
Yeah, so sometimes I make decisions about where I go in the game based on where have I been burned recently. So it's possible Thorneto gets a lamp. That's pretty nice. Don't know that it's 100% worth, but it's definitely nice.
Yeah, and I think that's natural to remember the things that cost you races most recently and prioritize those.
Yeah. Whitty with a almost a one cycle on Landmo. Landmo played it a little bit coy there.
Yeah, that short hop will catch you every time.
Yeah, did really well with the first two.
Yeah, so Whitty taking down his second crystal there. And meanwhile, Thorneto appears to be heading down to Village of Outcasts.
Actually, double checking the tracker here, it's Whitty's third crystal at this point. So, having finished Thieves Town, Tower of Hera, and Desert Palace, they must be feeling pretty good. About 40 minutes in almost, and got 3 out of 7 crystals. Feels pretty good.
Yeah, it's at this point that he's probably starting to tally which items are required for Go mode, and you know we're not sure what pendant we'll need to get into TR, so we'll need at least one medallion, and mitts, and I think that's the list for Whitty. And the hook shot.
Yeah, you definitely want that. It also depends.
Swamp Palace is a crystal, so Flipper's hook shot. Yeah, those will also be.
And whatever we want, mitts, Flippers, hook shot, and whatever entry requirements for Turtle Rock. So those will be good to know eventually. So Whitty potentially going to save a bit of time here on Thorneto. It really depends on if Whitty decides to go into Eastern Palace to get the flute that's hiding in there. I don't know. I don't know if he will. I
think it probably depends on if there's progression in Pond.
Yeah, I think based on the playstyle so far, I doubt that he will go into Eastern, but it's always possible. Might be feeling like he's running out of other places to go.
Yeah, and that's sort of what I was getting at. If he doesn't find any progression that leads him towards another crystal dungeon, then I wouldn't be surprised to see him mirror over and take care of the first couple checks of Eastern Palace.
Yeah, absolutely. While we have a moment here, while Whitty and Thorneto are kind of, Thorneto's covering known ground, Whitty's kind of doing some dashes that we kind of expect. Just want to shout out our Restreamer. We've got our Restream crew, which is, of course, me and McMonkey on the commentary. We've got VinceEaster on tracking, Jere, Dudecia, probably messing up my pronunciation of that, on Restream itself. So thank you to the whole crew. We could not do it without everybody involved. So I really appreciate everyone.
Absolutely.
It was my first time back really playing this game or commentating in about almost a month now. So it's really nice to be back.
Yeah, and it's nice to have you. I think this is our first time together. I'm having fun.
Yeah.
We got a lot of seed left to go.
Yes, indeed. It's been good so far. Hope for a good rest of the race. It's pretty solid movement here from Whitty. A couple of bonks here and there, but you know, nothing terrible.
Yeah, very, very efficient.
And a little bit, as soon as I say that, of course, has a little bit of trouble with those mimics. That red mimic can be kind of a jerk.
Commentating would be no fun if there wasn't a commentator's curse.
Exactly.
Yeah, so interesting. Thorneto not checking the Village of Outcasts checks before diving into Thieves Town, so he's going to be giving up quite a bit of time. Thieves Town, one of those dungeons that you can save an awful lot by having. No, I'm sorry, he has the boots. I'm just not seeing him dash at all.
Oh, Whitty. Whitty did it. Nice, Whitty. Whitty just pulled off a pretty cool trick. It's fairly recently discovered nice auto stair extension thanks to the way that Samaria works on some screens. Really nicely done. Super. It seems weird and kind of like, how do you do that? It doesn't make sense. But it's very easy to pull off.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's definitely got a couple of details that you need in order to pull it off consistently.
Yeah. As soon as I said it's very easy to pull off, I thought about when I learned how to do it. I was like, well, it's like, you know, when you know how to do it, it's easy.
Yeah, sort of like the blind script in that way.
Exactly. Yeah. If you know how to do it, it's one thing. Like doing it fast and consistently is really what it comes down to. Whitty not finding a whole lot in pod here. Seeing heart pieces and bombs. I got Thorneto fighting blind. Speaking of things that once you practice it, feel easier.
Yeah, Thorneto getting a little off script, but cleaning it up nicely.
Got Whitty in a dark room, poking their way through. Ooh, got a little scary there.
Yeah, and here's a spot where Thorneto can make up a little bit of time. You know, going through this dark maze is not going to be an issue at all for Thorneto once he gets there. Yeah, Whitty having a little bit of trouble. It seems like he's kind of lost in the maze here.
I'm not sure where he is either, honestly. Let's see. They may be at the top left corner. Yes, they were at the top left corner, I think. I could be wrong on that.
Picking up their bow.
Yeah, I think fair enough to mirror out of there. Hopefully it does not contain something really important, but we shall see.
Yeah, and shout out to Blue Kano in chat, who is Whitty's brother, also a accomplished Rando player. He's pointing out that Dark Maze is Whitty's least favorite dark room, but it looks like he's going to take another go at it.
Yeah, fair enough to just like leave, get a little reset on it. All right, 3 hearts. You can do it.
Yeah, once you get off your maze route and you don't really know where you are, it can be pretty hard to get back on track. So mirroring out, restarting, not the worst idea in the world. Yeah, DFS in chat pointing out you could always bring up a map of the dark room. I always have my dark room link open just in case I get to this point in a seed where I'm just not sure where I am.
Oh no, that's unfortunate. So Whitty took out the blue cane just in time to take a final hit from a fireball. Perhaps they try again. They have more health now, so might as well.
Yeah, I did not see. Did they pick up the big key yet?
I believe that they did. I think they either did or we know it's in that bottom right chest in the dark maze. I think that I saw it, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, because if he hasn't found the big key, then that's good reason to keep at this, because he can't even go and fight Helmet and say, I'll orphan those checks. Good point. So I've known my dark rooms for probably a year at this point, but I still. Hey, there we go. All right, we didn't even get that chest yet. Okay, now I see where we are. Yeah, third tries the charm.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, even knowing dark rooms for as long as I've known them, I still usually open a map, except for the most recent Go Mode podcast bi-weekly seed. Nice half magic for Whitty. The most recent bi-weekly seed was all about the recent episode topic of dark rooms. And if you really want to kind of step up your game, get some advice from people, really good. Nice. Oh my gosh, I keep trying to talk about this podcast, but Whitty keeps finding good items, and I don't get a chance.
Yeah, so perseverance really paying off there in the dark maze.
Yes, absolutely.
Now glad that he's went back for the third try, picking up the mitts there, picking up half magic is a nice safety to have. The big key required to beat Helma.
Yeah, definitely not going to complain about getting half magic at that point. Yeah, but definitely worth it for myths and half magic.
That bi-weekly seed is a good opportunity to practice some very specific tech in the game. Dark rooms this week, so I don't blame you for giving it a try without the maps this week. Being brave, that's sort of the whole point of the episode, I believe.
Yeah, it's mostly that I forgot to open the maps more than anything else. But once I realized what I'd done, I was like, "Oh, it's too late now."
Well, it's fitting with the theme.
Keep going. Exactly.
Yeah, and the dude posting the link there, or Nightbot posting it at the dude's request, so you can head to the website to get the latest episode of the podcast, although I'm sure everyone here in chat is already subscribed and downloads it on the first hour after it's posted.
Oh, yes, of course. So something I'm thinking about here with Whitty, I really appreciate the perseverance that Whitty showed with those dark rooms. The unfortunate thing is that Thorneto has a lamp, so whenever Thorneto heads over to Pod, I think that I saw Thorneto get his bow. I hope he did.
He did, yeah.
Good. I think it's a reasonable next step, and it will be a significantly easier next step because he has the lamp. And so this might come down to things like that, where Thorneto saves some time from getting the lamp, might gain some time from getting the flute, might need to use the flute to get something over in Meyer area. It's hard to know right now, but we shall see.
Yeah, it can definitely make up quite a bit of time very quickly if there's a required item in the Meyer area, and certainly just that couple minutes that Whitty spent trying to get through the dark maze, Thorneto's going to breeze right through.
Absolutely. All right, we got Whitty heading into helmet sword. Pop a
17
helmet
hits with the hammer will knock off his mask.
So like the safe play here.
Yep, getting in one Master Sword spin and now whipping out the bow to finish him off. And meanwhile, Thorneto fighting land mode, trying to get the one cycle, but he also gets a quick hop the same way as Whitty did. But is able to finish it off the second cycle with that fire rod.
Whitty making me sweat a little bit with that fight, but finished it off.
Yeah, there's been quite a few places now where Whitty has cut it close. Got that beeping to full effect today.
Always have to set your beep to 2 times speed.
I have not been brave enough to try that yet.
Don't. It's not worth it. Whitty's gonna leave the flute. Risky. We got Thorneto heading to Pod, kind of like we were saying. It's a reasonable next step. We'll have a little bit of an easier time going through with a lamp now too. Both runners have checked Sahasrara. That is where we found our first sword. Main difference at that point was that Whitty went to Sahasrara and left immediately after Save and Quit. Meanwhile, Thorneto went into Eastern and found the flute. Looks like Whitty's going to be going for Fake Flipper now. Good setup for it.
Yep,
nice.
Nicely done. That's the
Easy.
NMG strat there.
Oops. Yeah, you can't press the map button while you're mashing here. Interesting. Running straight to Ice Palace. Okay.
Yeah, not a bad play. It's another crystal that you can full clear.
And having Kane of Samaria makes it a lot easier too.
Yeah, he can loop right into the. Well, I guess he won't be able to loop right into the flipper checks when he gets out, but he could. Yeah. He doesn't have the flute either. I was going to say he could flute over to 8 and take flipper again, but no, that's not an option for him either, is it?
Not an option, unfortunately, no. I do think this still fits with what we've been saying about Whitty's play so far today, which is he's very very into skipping things, which is reasonable to do. Just, bummer doesn't get the second bomb there. Good idea.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. I mean, he is definitely building a nice crystal lead here. It's going to be a matter of whether the items start to dry up for him.
Right. Yeah, someone pointing out it is possible to do some splash deletion after this dungeon in order to do the water checks. You can fake flipper by doing splash deletion. If you know how to do it and you feel comfortable doing it, that's a good option. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, then it's a little bit trickier. Got some icebreaker action going on. First try icebreaker from Whitty. Very nice.
Yeah, very smooth. No menu buffers or anything.
It's probably better than I do it.
So despite the lack of hookshot, with the icebreaker, it's going to be very easy for Whitty to full clear Ice Palace here. Meanwhile, Thorneto heading back towards the back of Palace of Darkness now.
Ooh, nice silver arrows in Ice Palace. That's quite good to find.
Yeah, especially with that Master Sword now, there's no worry about having to pick up another sword along the way. If you find one, great. If not, you can still get through a not terrible Ganon fight.
Yeah. Alright. Well, we'll have Thorneto go to the Dark Maze next and have a little bit of an easier time thanks to the lamp here. As long as he remembers to throw the bomb. Yes, I always forget to throw the bomb here if I don't throw it on the bridge. Whitty crushes one of the easiest bomb jumps in the game.
Yeah, that one is basically free.
I love that one. When I first saw somebody do it, I was like, what the heck is that setup? I mean, that seems crazy. How do you do that? And I was like, oh, you just move into the top right corner. Oh, okay.
It's like learning a magician's secret. It's not as cool as it was when you learned the secret behind it.
Right. Yeah, there's some tricks in this game where I still think, like, man, that is crazy that it works that way. But then that's not one of them. All right, we got Whitty going into the Cold Stare fight.
Yeah, which is no joke on a Master Sword with the number of hearts he has currently.
Yeah. Yes, it is a very scary fight. I have done this fight on 2 hearts, and it is terrifying. And even now, with how much health Whitty has, it is still terrifying. Handling it really well.
Making great use of that half magic and fire rod to take down 2 buffs makes it quite a bit easier.
Really, really smart. Nice. All right. So Whitty now needs all of 2 crystals. To get those 2 crystals, he's going to need whatever Turtle Rock entry is. He's going to need flippers. He's going to need hookshot. Meanwhile, Thorneto is on the way to his 4th crystal in pod. Looking like playing a little bit of catch-up at this point, but also Thorneto has our flute and ether, and those might be very important. It's really hard to know at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and right here is a good example of where Thorneto's going to be able to make up some time with that flute, saving and quitting out of Ice Palace. You know, Whitty's going to go and pick up King's Tomb here, but after that, he's going to have to save and quit again to get to any of the other checks.
King's Tomb is red tunic. That's quite nice.
Yeah, a nice costume change for Madeline there. Thorneto getting beat up by the turtles a bit, but getting through them all.
Yeah, still quite reasonable action there. All right, let's check out these bonk rocks. If I'm in Whitty's shoes, I start to think about, you know, how much do I have left that I have chosen to ignore already? Because my personal feeling is that if you decide to skip something like Eastern fairly early in the game, you kind of want to keep your potential advantage from skipping that by continuing to skip it and doing other things. But at a certain point, you might run out of other things to do, and you might realize, oh, I made a mistake.
Yeah, and the other part of that is those checks may start to be more and more scattered, and without that flute, cleaning them up is going to be a chore. And while we were talking about Whitty's routing, Thorneto taking down Helmasaur, getting his 4th crystal. Easy peasy.
Yeah, Vortex in chat pointing out, you know, you could have, for Whitty, you could have looped in Graveyard Ledge along with the checks that he just did with Boots by first coming here to the village and then going to those things using your mirror. It does save time if you're going to do Graveyard Ledge to do that. Unfortunately, Whitty now has kind of an isolated Graveyard Ledge, which makes it a little tricky. We're going to see our Smith's Chain here. Save our frog friend.
Yeah, and Thorneto continuing to follow Whitty's footsteps, heading over to Ice Palace. I'm a little surprised to see Whitty not go up the mountain and check what the Turtle Rock requirement is so that he knows what he needs for go mode. Although I guess without the hook shot, that's a less appealing option doing Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah, it's a little tricky there. Definitely prefer to get hook shot before doing that. It might also be a thought of like, well, I already know that I don't have logical access to the mountain right now based on what I have.
Yeah, and that's a fair point as well.
Yeah, we've already seen Bombo's tablet. We've seen Cave 45. I am very curious about when Thorneto is going to check Mire area because he did not do so before going to Ice. I see Vortex has also pointed that out. Yeah, checking that Mire area can be really nice. You know, you've got this flute. Thorneto doesn't know that that's kind of his advantage right now. But you know, you definitely want to use that flute when you can.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, the thinking may just be that there's only 3 checks there that you really want to do. A sword would be nice, but otherwise you're still full clearing Ice Palace with the number of items that are needed for go mode at this point.
I think Whitty is going for water checks. Oops. Close.
Yeah, just one more pixel over, I think.
Yeah.
Easier said than done.
Man, this crab this does not want to cooperate. I think one of the easiest ways to do that fake flipper setup, if you're coming from the left here, is you kind of line up vertically with that cliff face that Whitty was lining up with. You get up to the bush, swipe your sword, and hold upright while you hold your sword out, and that you can just hold upright the whole way. Easier to show than explain verbally, I think, perhaps.
Yeah, for sure. And there's actually a great set of tutorials, the FMG tutorials, that go over all of those tricks in detail that are in the NMG strats. I happened to just watch that one earlier today. The Tower of Hera section of the NMG route covers that fake flipper setup.
It's really nice use of the boots from Whitty on this this water walk. Ends up with that mirror shield, does not pick it up. Refuses.
Wisely chooses to refuse it.
Says, no thank you. I do not want this.
And Thorneto, forgetting that he does not have hookshot, falling down towards the big chest and doing some
that feels bad.
Sword slashes of rage.
And it's like, you have to go back for it, right? Maybe not.
Maybe not. He may be gambling here that the last item is on Cold Stare.
I think if you do that and it's not on Cold Stare, you just leave.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a good gamble when you're saying I don't really want to go all the way around until the item's not on Cold Stare, and then you're stuck leaving it behind.
This is something I had not thought of from Whitty. Got the Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, and I like this. Pressing the advantage. They've been really focusing on picking up those crystals. They've got both red crystals now. You might as well keep going in that same vein.
Please be careful, Thorneto. All right, he gets it. Nice.
Yeah, just enough magic on that fire rod to take down Cold Stare and pick up his 5th crystal. So depending on how Thorneto routes these overworld checks, and where these items end up being, he could really make up quite a bit of time very quickly here.
I did not see what Pyramid Ledge was at all.
I believe it was just a big
it was cut off
there.
A little bit. I'll get a bottle check before the final chest here. Just 10 bombs, okay.
Yeah, but the way Whitty's been cutting it close with health, that red potion could come in handy.
Absolutely. All right, we got Thorneto has finished up Ice Palace. Curious where they're going to go next.
Appears to be Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, I think reasonable. You just got both red crystals here. You might as well do.
Yeah, I don't know what else this would be because he's already done all the other checks in this area aside from Swamp Palace, which he doesn't have access to.
I don't believe we've seen Catfish yet. Catfish often left behind in many games, and I don't blame people for leaving Catfish behind, honestly. It's really out of the way.
Yeah, and when you check those flipper checks early, Catfish is very isolated, but I don't know, has Whitty checked Waterfall Fairy and Zora at this point?
Yep, yeah, they did that just before doing this check in the Dark World here, which didn't really pay off.
No, and interesting deciding to go up to Catfish and making a separate trip earlier, just before to do those Zora checks. Really could have routed those together with the mirror and saved a bit of time.
Yeah, looks like finally, at long last, Whitty will head to Eastern Palace. He will get his flute.
Yes, I'd really like to see Thorneto head over to Meyer area at this point.
Yeah, I think we've seen a couple of people in chat being like, Thorneto, please go to my area. It's the advantage that you have.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks when you get over there and you see that Ether is required to open Mire, and then you've got to decide whether you want to dip in or not, because you have everything you need for Mire. But you know, I think it's the play versus doing all of these other overworld checks that Whitty had to do because he didn't have the flute.
Yeah, Thorneto, meanwhile, following the same path that we saw Whitty follow not too long ago. I hope, please mirror after and use your flute and go to 6. I do not believe we have seen either runner do a PED check yet to satisfy chat curiosity about PED. We do not know what is there.
No, yeah, when Thorneto was in the area doing Skull Woods, they didn't have the book yet, and Whitty has not been up to that area at all.
Yeah, what are you doing, Thorneto? Thorneto might be doing our blacksmith checks here. Pretty nice room from Whitty. I like if you have bow and you're coming nice. There we go, we got it. If you're coming into Eastern and you have the bow, it's really nice to do that skull, the Stalfos room there with a bow. Just feels cool. You save a little bit of time potentially over picking up the pots and doing all that.
Yeah, for sure. Not sure I love Thorneto's choice here in routing. You know, boots checks, I could see doing the boots checks, but the Mire checks are so quick. If you're not going to go into Mire and you have everything you need for it, you know, I would love to see it.
I realized he forgot Bonk Rocks. And we know that Quake is on Bumper Ledge now. That might be important. Might not. Ooh, Whitty having a little bit of trouble here. Oh boy. Alright. Gonna cut it a little bit close with this trick here. There we go.
And we'll get our first look at Graveyard Ledge here from Thorneto. It looks like Whitty is going to just full clear Eastern Palace for the green.
Yeah, going for it.
Nothing on Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, it's taking their chances here with Eastern Palace play.
Yeah, I like this. At this point, you know, if you're dipping it really early, grab the items and go. But at this point, Whitty has done so many overworld checks, and this green pendant is going to get him another item check, and he won't ever have to come back to Eastern Palace.
Yeah, certainly true. I guess Thorneto has never checked the back of this. Now that we are looking at it.
Yeah, apparently not. He's going to be disappointed.
Yes,
as we were a while ago.
Yeah, it's one of those unfortunate, like, you know, it's just like we get a weird situation where, you know, I didn't do this a long, long time ago, so maybe I should do it now. But I would often personally just say, like, just don't don't worry about the stuff you skipped early, like, unless it's like really the last option. If you made a decision to skip it, it might be better to continue skipping it. It kind of depends. Of course,
that really seems to be the answer. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that advice will often not pay off as well as pay off, but, you know, you never know.
Yeah, for sure. And I was just going to say that seems to be the answer to every routing question in this game is it depends. Which I think, for me, that's what makes it so much fun is there's a lot of complexity to the routing decisions of where to go and when and under what circumstances.
Yeah. Yeah, I realize, you know, win or lose in this game. I just really like talking about like how did we play this game differently? Like, what do you think about the game? You know, because it's just really well done. You're always going to have seeds that are just really mean and do weird stuff to you, and that's part of the fun too.
Yeah.
Oh man, Whitty going straight to Meyer with that flute.
And we see
All right, we finally get a
Bombos
check here.
for Turtle Rock access, so we still don't know where that
Either
is.
player has that. We have seen Quake and Bombos also for Meyer, so that's interesting. And nothing in the first chest of Hookshot Cave. This is interesting. We've got very, very different places here. Nice tempered sword. And oh no, poor Whitty.
Yeah,
Whitty's going to really be thinking about going into Meyer right now.
Well, and for Thorneto, if he had gone to Meyer area before doing his palace and all of this, you know, he would have been sitting pretty. And it's looking like, based on all the checks we've seen these guys do, it's looking like Meyer might be the answer at this point. For all we know, that could be where our hookshot or flippers are.
Whitty deciding, nope, that is not where I want to go. Whitty deciding instead they're going to check out Dark Death Mountain. It's interesting because Whitty can go into Turtle Rock.
Yeah, and full clear it.
Yeah. All right, we have Thorneto following behind Whitty, getting over to Meyer area. Is going to see that Bombos and say, "Oh no."
But yeah, interesting decision for Thorneto here. Turtle Rock is sitting there with 5 items, and picking up that Bombos means that he has full access to it. Will he go right back up the mountain, or will he dip Meyer?
Yeah, I really hope he just goes straight back. You know, it's hard. Meyer is 2 items and it's a pendant, so it's like if you do that, you're really not setting yourself up for success here. All right, fortunately, getting the flute out. Probably going back to 1. Yep.
Yeah, I think this is the right play.
All right, this will be pretty close time in here for these runners getting to this place around the same time. You know, for all the divergence that we've seen, they're pretty close right now.
Yeah, really, the only difference here is the lamp that Thorneto picked up in Skull Woods.
Which ultimately did not matter in this seed.
Well, it mattered a little bit for Whitty and in his 3 tries in Dark Maze, but yeah, it didn't matter in terms of overall access.
Sorry, you know what? I heard you say lamp, but in my head, I was looking at the ether that Thorneto had picked up, and I was thinking, oh, ether didn't matter.
Yeah,
and then as soon as I said what I said, I was like, that's not what he's talking about. Why would you say that?
Yeah, I think we can all agree ether has been 100% useless so far.
Lamp, though, lamp is one of those like really nice items to get. If you know your dark rooms and you're comfortable with them, it's a optional item sometimes. You might need it for a fire source for some dungeons. Thank you, Whitty, for remembering that you do not have the hook shot in this room.
For sure. Yeah, though interestingly, if Whitty had picked up ether, that is a very useful item in that dark maze, especially when you're starting to struggle and not be able to find your way around. You can freeze those mini dodongos and use them as landmarks to navigate and at least stop them from shooting fire at you. So, you know, perhaps ether could have made a difference after all.
As a couple of folks have pointed out, really all we need at this point are flippers and hookshot.
And Thorneto also passing his memory test, going the correct direction here.
It's really interesting seeing like nearly identical room strats from both of these guys.
Yeah, this is getting fun with them so close. Both of them needing the same 2 items for go mode, and Whitty once again down to a heart and a half in the chain chomp room.
It was kind of weird what happened there. I don't know if you saw it, McMonkey, but he was... Oh, that's interesting. Oh, unfortunate. So what happened there that kind of made that situation possible was he had placed a Samaria block in a place where it looked like he shouldn't have been able to push it, but when he moved down, he ended up pushing the block somehow. It was weird visually. It didn't look like he was close enough to it to push it. But it kind of set him up in a weird spot where he was like kind of stuck in a block pushing animation. That feels kind of bad to get hit on something dumb like that.
Yeah, we sing the praises of the Samaria shenanigans, but every once in a while, it does get weird in bad ways as well.
Yes. Oh my gosh, these chain chomps. Please pull out your powder, Whitty. Thank you.
Yeah, that powder being a very nice safety to have right about now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that chain chomp death, Thorneto pulling a slight lead here in Turtle Rock, getting bunny beamed in a very nice morph ball animation. I love that.
That's amazing. Oh, the shovel. What a rude item to get. Man. Yeah, both of these runners doing pretty well with that key room. Both of them getting bunny beamed, but that's a hard room to not get bunny beamed. Whitty with the chest turn on that chest too.
And it's a pretty inconsequential bunny beam because you walk through the door, you go through the tunnel, and you are done with being a bunny. I think the timer continues to tick as you're going through that tunnel.
Yeah, something I saw recently, if you have boots, so boots do weird things in this game, but one weird thing they do is that if you have a bunny beam timer coming out of that tunnel, if you tap A as you're coming out, you will start moving a bit faster than you would normally with the bunny beam reversal animation.
Interesting. Yeah, that is a good factoid to know.
Yeah. Did Thorneto skip Mimic Cave?
It appears that he did.
I don't like that move. If that is
Certainly
indeed what
not.
happened. That's really risky.
Yeah, he either skipped it or he did it so fast as to be unnoticeable. And now it feels really
Oh my god.
bad.
I think he did skip it. That feels real bad. Oh man. He might have some plan here, but oh man, that could really hurt.
Yeah, I agree with the Vortex. That really just seems like a mental lapse, not
Yeah.
any kind of... I can't think of any kind of strategy that would involve skipping Mimic Cave when you're 2 items from go mode.
Yeah, skipping an item that's literally on the way. Oh man, that's gonna hurt. So Whitty does still need our hook shot. That's the main thing we're looking for in this game. Thorneto gonna have an easier time with this laser bridge here because of the mirror shield.
Now, one piece of advice I did hear at some point was that if you're 1 item from go mode and you are approaching Mimic Cave, to go check the big chest first. And it may be that maybe he had that in the back of his mind and then just flaked and forgot to go back.
Yeah. All right, so here Whitty is going to be challenged a little bit by this dark room. This dark room can be annoying if you are not super familiar with it. They're kind of having a hard time with this peg maze. There are a lot of enemies in this peg maze that can really get in your way.
Yeah, and those mini Helmosaurs really grouped up on him all of a sudden.
Yeah. All right, Whitty using a potion. That is reasonable. Okay. Wait, step on the platform, dude. There you go.
And unfortunately, he took a wrong turn immediately, so he's going to have to find his way back up.
Yeah, this dark maze, once you kind of get a feeling for how long to hold the buttons, is not too bad. But if you're trying to do it on the fly, it can be pretty tough.
Meanwhile, Thorneto taking down the first two heads of Trinix, going into phase 2. Only 3.5 hearts, so he's going to have to be a little bit careful here. Now he's down to 1.5. One more bump and he's dead. Which might... well... might be a blessing in disguise.
Right.
Because that would send him back up to the door next to Mimic Cave.
I really hope that he remembers. He does not. Oh, man. God, I just feel so bad. That hurts.
Yeah. Yeah, the hope would be that he remembered somewhere along the way doing Laser Bridge and could have just done Mimic Cave right there.
I think that Whitty's got it this time. Yeah, there you go. Nice job, Whitty. So Whitty has a real clear advantage right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he pulled back ahead here in Turtle Rock, as well as, I think, just overall. Taking the safety door. Can't fault anybody for taking the safety door here.
Yeah, this is going to be really hard for Thorneto to come back from if he does not get the flippers right now. Because getting to Mimic Cave takes a while.
Yeah, and with those flippers, interesting decision for Whitty. They have Pendant Mire available, they have Pendant Skull Woods available, or they could just say, hey, let's chance it and see if the hookshot's vanilla and in Swamp Palace.
Yeah, just YOLO Swamp Palace, you know, take your chances. Opting for the safe strat here with Blue King, I think that's fair.
Yeah, for sure. Getting a couple good laser skips there, but, you know, bailing out on it after a fail, not wanting to take another Death Warp, that makes sense. So Thorneto once again in phase 2 of Trinix. He's got a few more hearts this time, so hopefully he should be able to get through this without any issue.
Whitty on their way to face off with Trinix.
Just some bombs on Trinix. But Thorneto first to pick up the 6th crystal. I can't imagine they'll be first to pick up the 7th at this point.
No, it's going to be really hard to come back at this point. I think they're going to go... I think that Thorneto is going to go straight to Mire at this point, and they're going to be really upset about it. It's like, what else do you do if you think you've done all the things here?
Yeah, I mean, if he mismarked, you know, worst case scenario, and he mismarked his tracker here, he could do every check remaining in the game, and then be left scratching his head, wondering where his progression is.
Yeah. I just feel real bad.
Yeah, I think everybody who plays this game for any length of time has been in this situation at least once, where you think you checked something, or you just mismarked, or just flat out forgot about it.
Yep, I have done the same. In a league race, I very much lost a league race. I'm pretty sure I would have lost it anyway, based on who I was racing. But I lost in part because it was a cross keys race, and I didn't mark where Hookshot Cave was, and I never got the items in Hookshot Cave. And it would have led me to a lot more progression than all the other junk that I did.
Yeah,
got Thorneto checking out Pedestal right now, which, I mean, maybe it helps. We don't know.
Nope, sad. Just 10 arrows. No boing, boing, boing today. So now Thorneto heading down to clean up some overworld checks. We know that he's not going to find anything of value here. Meanwhile, Whitty going down to be disappointed by Spike Cave. And while we have a moment, we can reset here and let you know that we have our Tempered Sword bracket semifinal going on here. The winner of this match will go on to face Nephistos in the final. Thorneto is up 1-0, so if Whitty does maintain his lead and pull this out, then there will be a Game 3 between these two runners. We can have that to look forward to, even if we are feeling bad for Thorneto leaving those flippers behind. If you like what you see, give the runners a follow. Thank you to Verts for co-comming with me, to our tracker VinceEaster, and our restreamer Jere Dudecia.
Yeah, I definitely want to thank their whole Restream crew, McMonkey, VinceEaster, Jere Dudecia, as well as the Go Mode podcast team as well. It's really great folks. It's a really, really nice community if you're kind of coming in from outside of the Go Mode podcast community. There's a really fun group of people, just really supportive and just wanting to improve their gameplay. The only reason I'm still racing this game is that I was in this mentor tournament last year, to be honest. So definitely feel like this is a super supportive community. We should all be part of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the amount of work that people are willing to put in voluntarily to run the tournament and run these restreams is just incredible. Stee asking when the third race would be. I don't believe that one is on the schedule yet, so these guys would have to negotiate for when the third game would be, depending on the outcome of this one.
It would likely be during this, like the rest of this week, going into this weekend. We definitely try to keep it at a race or set of races per week. All right, he's going to check out the back of Skullwoods here. Actually, I think this is his first trip into Skullwoods at all.
This is, yeah. Yeah, maybe thinking that they can check some items in Skullwoods and maybe take a peek at that pedestal to know whether it's worthwhile going to Meyer afterwards.
Yeah. Blue Kono pointing out Woody's going to get the lamp now that he does not need it anymore. It's kind of unfortunate, but
well,
so it goes.
I guess it's always possible that the hook shot is on Vitreous, and then that lamp will certainly come in handy for the basement of Meyer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, interesting. Thorneto putting off both sides of Escape for quite a while. He's not done the front of Escape yet. We're an hour and 31 into the seed here, and he's just now getting to the front of Escape. It doesn't have his answer, but it's pretty brave. For as thorough as he was in a lot of his routing, it's interesting to leave this so long.
Yeah, it's tricky. It has more checks than Meyer. But at the same time, you missed out on Mimic Cave, buddy. Feels real bad.
Yeah, and you'd love to see this when they were doing Pyramid Fairy and Pyramid, right? They had the mirror.
Yeah,
it would have been the
that's kind of the
way to
ideal scenario. Absolutely. All right. I wonder if Whitty. So Whitty's gonna probably definitely go to the back here and go for the other item. I wonder if he goes straight for Mothula, or checks the chest first, like Thorneto did.
Or checks the ped first, because that may help give a clue about whether or not to go to Mothula.
That is another thing.
Yeah, I have to imagine both runners at this point starting to feel a little bit of pressure that, they're only one item away from go mode, 2 items in Thorneto's case. But you're an hour and a half into the seed at this point, and you've got a dungeon, GT, and Ganon left. It doesn't feel good to be in this situation. And Whitty indeed checking the pedestal there before heading into the backside of Skullwoods.
And because he did that, he's going to check this chest first, and then we'll likely... So we saw 20 rupees on the other end. Thorneto, meanwhile, is going to go into Mire.
Yeah, and good news, bad news situation here, right? It almost has to be the location of the hook shot unless it's in Swamp Palace itself. But without those flippers, it's not going to do him much good.
Right, and that's where Whitty's flippers might make a difference here. Really just depends on where Whitty goes. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else Whitty has in this area that hasn't been checked yet.
He don't think he peeked at Graveyard Ledge yet. And that's the only other thing here. Well, Graveyard Ledge and Bumper Ledge, I'm not sure if he checked either of those.
Yeah, it's true. Thorneto did get the Graveyard Ledge check, but Whitty did King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks in the Light World and wasn't able to get that Graveyard Ledge check in.
Personally, if it's this late in the seed and I haven't checked Bumper Ledge, I'm not really going to check it unless I find Cape somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Without the Cape, it doesn't do you much good because if you get the Cape, you've got so few checks left, you're going to go blind get Bumper Ledge at that point.
Yeah. Early in the seed, I would check it, but hour 30 in, I'm kind of I don't know if I want to do that. All right, nothing so far from Mire on Thorneto's end.
Oh, unfortunately, running into the Tattletale there gets me every time.
Oh, you know what? Vortex pointing out, both runners have shovel. They have not checked that.
No, it looks like Whitty's starting to pick up some of those fetch quests, though, going to Magic Pad, another check we haven't seen.
Yeah. Have we not seen it? I'm trying to remember. I think I saw Thorneto do it, but I don't remember.
Oh, he must have, because he does have the blue boomerang. You're right.
I didn't remember what it was, but I knew I saw it recently. Didn't know if it was the seed I ran earlier or this one. I knew I saw it.
Yeah, seed bleed is real, and it is an issue these days.
Yes.
So Whitty deciding not to try his luck in Swamp Palace. He's going to follow Thorneto into Misery Mire, which so far has been Pupkiss.
Some money. That's it.
I believe Thorneto has Cutscene Chest and Vidi left, and that's it.
Yeah. So pretty standard Mire.
Absolutely, yeah.
You're always going to end up in this situation.
Yeah, I assume there's at least one item left, otherwise they would have left by now. A nice Mire 2 room by Whitty there. That Popo was not cooperating, running away from him, but otherwise it was pretty clean.
Yes. Yeah, that room can be pretty tough to do fast. So I always appreciate when folks like try a quick strat on it. Even if it's not 100% successful, you get pretty good on it. Oh man, Rando getting a big 20, and he's gonna leave.
And that's it for Meyer. Yeah, so this is not going to pan out for Whitty.
That's some money. Grand total of 70 rupees. Unfortunately, Thorneto doesn't have much else that he can do.
He does have the Armos Knights, and that appears to be where he's going.
Yes. I know we saw Whitty clear Eastern Palace. I don't remember if Whitty went and turned in the green pendant.
He did. He did immediately after Eastern Palace, and it was...
I'm glad.
Nothing but a piece of heart, I believe.
Okay, Thorneto's going to check Shovel instead. I think that's a better play, for sure. Nice palette swap on these guards here.
Someone in chat asking if Hookshot could be in Moldorm too. That is not the case. We can't even get him to get in this tower until we beat Swamp Palace, which requires the Hookshot.
Ooh, 1-4 sword. I think it's in Swamp. I'm trying to think if there's anywhere we have not seen at this point.
Yeah, I can't think of any checks that are left outside of Swamp Palace at this point. And Whitty showing off another nice little trick there. He was able to use the door state to clip through a rail. Save a little bit of time walking around. Yeah, so Hookshot, if it is in Swamp Palace, and Whitty, assuming he makes his way over there at some point, he's going to probably feel a lot of pressure. You know, that clock is ticking, and he's going to almost last location the Hookshot. He has no idea that he's got a nearly insurmountable lead at this point. So maybe that pressure will start to force a mistake. Although it might take it would take something dramatic in order to even this up.
Yeah, it has to be in Swamp Palace. It's the only place it can be at this point. We've literally checked everything else. Either that or it's going to be something dumb like Mushroom is in Swamp Palace, and then you turn in the Mushroom and you get your hook shot.
Yeah, that is a possibility. That would be terrible.
I wouldn't put it past this game, to be honest. This game does mean things sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the hookshot location, though, I mean, the flippers were a little rude being in Mimic Cave, but up to that point, it was not a terrible seed in terms of item progression.
It hasn't been too bad. The really, like, Thorneto's mainly in a bad spot just because he skipped out on Mimic Cave. But otherwise, like, his thoroughness kind of helped out in some ways. You know, basically put him right on the same timing with Whitty going into Turtle Rock, but not getting those flippers is going to make a huge amount of difference right now.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we might see a long pause after he turns in the green pendant just to figure out what's going on. I'm not sure what Whitty's doing right now. He's going to check shovel. Okay,
check the shovel before, yeah. Which I think is the last check available to him before Swamp Palace.
Yeah, I think if you're that close to the warp point, and you realize that, personally, I would activate the warp point and then just walk over in the dark world and then use your mirror. You know, it's not a huge difference, but it does let you at least like save a little time of backtracking.
Yeah, you've already spent the time to hammer the peg and get all the way in there. Yeah, Thorneto heading back to 5. Not sure. Maybe he's gonna start checking dungeons for item counts. I'm not sure what's happening here.
Not sure that Thorneto knows either. I think they must have mismarked. I think you said this already, but they must have mismarked something. You can't flute there, my dude.
Yeah, and this is the point where the panic sets in. You don't have any idea of where it could possibly be that you mismarked. And unfortunately for Thorneto, it is one of the worst possible locations to mismark.
Yeah. Oh, Thorneto.
Yeah, so now Thorneto's starting to go back over, and there's the hook shot. First real check with Swamp Palace.
All right, well, an hour 44, 25-ish go mode for Whitty. Yeah, this is really unfortunate for Thorneto. You know, being basically tied up at the point they entered Turtle Rock, and then kind of losing it there, basically.
Yeah, you have to wonder what checks would Thorneto have done at the point of leaving Turtle Rock with those flippers. Would they have gone right for Swamp Palace and given it a go? Would they have been able to make up time on these overworld checks since they had been more thorough? They wouldn't have to go to Skull Woods and maybe could have cleaned up a little faster. We might have had certainly would have had a much tighter race. Yeah, and Whitty now with that hook shot is just going to go mode his way through. He's got Butter Sword, he's got Silver Arrows, Red Mail. I mean, I can't think of a single thing at this point that you would even be looking for if you were opening chests.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to get some diver down action here. Nice quick setup, too.
Well, he's got the map to Swamp Palace, so he won't get lost on his way to Argus, so that's good.
Thank goodness.
Thorneto heading back up the mountain. We'll see if they've had their epiphany or if they're just sort of rechecking things at random.
Oh boy, this long pause is not a good sign. Well, maybe it's a good sign. Ooh, what are you going for the quick kill on Argus there? That could have been cool.
Yeah, getting a few of those
in. Got a couple of puffs there, yeah. That was pretty good.
Yeah, it's kind of free to go for it. You know, you at worst you get a couple of those puffs. I mean, I guess you could sort of get stuck in that hook dash state, but you know, it's kind of free to try to get a couple of those puffs quickly.
Yeah, you just have to remember to tap A if you lose it, because you know you are still like in hook dash at that point, so you can't use your sword. So you just have to remember that. Oh, please, Thorneto, please.
And with that, Whitty picks up their 7th crystal, which means that it's time for a guessing game.
Yes, indeed.
There are 22 checks in Ganon's Tower. The big key will be in one of those 22 basement checks. Get your guesses in now for which location you think the big key will be in this time.
I always guess 3, specifically the torch.
Excellent.
But because I put in a number,
some drama in certain seats.
Yes.
I usually go with 8 or 19, just because those are both part of my screen name.
That makes sense.
So it seems like Thorneto may have had an epiphany. Maybe they're just checking some things. No, they clearly are heading right towards Mimic Cave.
Okay.
They're gonna have a feels bad moment here in a couple seconds.
Yeah. All right. Meanwhile, Whitty on the way. Oh, please. Okay, good. Yeah, he did indeed finally remember. Whitty in the Dark World on top of Death Mountain, making the fun dashes over to Ganon's Tower.
Get your last second guesses in. As soon as he crosses the threshold, we will close the guessing game. Real imaginary internet points are on the line here.
Yes. And Thorneto has those flippers at last, and will flute. Will be going over to Swamp Palace for their final crystal, but he's going to have a real hard time catching up at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and the panic flute to 7 there instead of 4.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, you're good. I was saying Whitty is going full left here, not checking Hope Room first.
Yeah, we'll see if he goes full left or if we have a Dark Magician route here. And Dark Magician it is.
That's 5 checks so far with the torch. It's a good track for this dungeon.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tim. I must have misspoke there. I meant that they are 100% real fake internet points.
All right, Whitty's going to check tile room here.
Interesting choice. I mean, at 150, maybe feeling like they're behind and wants to throw a Hail Mary here to see if they can pick up the key.
Right. Abusing the cape wall situation here. If you're holding a wall and you have the cape, your magic does not drain for reasons.
Yeah, that cape is really finicky about using magic. It also doesn't seem to use magic when you're using your sword at the same time. It's just very economical.
It's just a little bit silly.
And the tile room.
Oh my god!
Pays off.
Oh no! Oh my gosh!
And that is check number 8.
Yeah, nice, well done. I don't think that was the one you meant when you said number 8.
That was, I didn't have a specific one in mind, but I couldn't ask for a better one.
What a play.
And I'm accidentally yelling at chat because my push-to-talk key is caps lock, and I always forget when I go to type something.
It's the only key that doesn't do something.
That's right, yeah. Alright, so Whitty just has a gauntlet and a fight with Aghanim, and then he's got to fight the pig. He's still got a good shot to get under 2 hours here.
Yeah, Thorneto meanwhile setting up. Oh, that was impressive. There we go. Thorneto set up that diver down with a Samaria block to the right. My preferred method is Samaria block to the left. Everybody has their own way of doing it. There's a lot of different ways you can.
Yeah, for sure, and it's fun to see the runners showing off a couple different ways to do the same trick. And Whitty's through the first part of the gauntlet, pretty clean there. He's going to have to be a little bit careful. I don't know that he has any safeties in bottles at this point. He does have powder to get some refills, but, you know, he's getting a little close to the edge again.
Kind of been the story of the seed for Whitty is heart beeps.
Yeah, living on the edge.
Alright, Thorneto, meanwhile, fighting Argus. On to phase 2. Gonna go for spin strats here. Whitty a little bit early. A nice fairy drop there. A little bit early with the block drop there.
Yeah, there was a clutch fairy. I don't know if he might have been too quick to pick it up if he didn't mess up the Samaria block, so
yeah.
Perhaps a blessing in disguise there. Chat pointing out that perhaps Whitty has, yeah, indeed has a red potion from the Pyramid Fairy.
All right, Whitty on to the final part of the gauntlet here. Has enough keys to ignore these mini helmets.
Yeah, it's looking like Thorneto will be getting into Ganon's tower just as Whitty is finishing up.
Let's go for broke and go for Talon right away.
Yeah, you almost have to at this point, right? I mean, Thorneto has got to know that he's behind at this point, right? I mean, having to go back for a minute.
Man, you have to really be saying, like, man, I messed up.
Yeah, and he's going to feel extra bad knowing that, you know, if he was in Ganon's tower, despite making that mistake, you know, how close would it have been, or how far ahead would he have been if he had remembered to do it the first time? Whitty just double checking to make sure the gold sword doesn't work on Aga.
Hey, you have to know.
We're getting a little unlucky that last phase, but 2 right there. Getting 2 more, 3. That's a nice triple to finish it off.
Yeah, Blue Kono pointing out, Whitty usually checks Moldorm 2 chest. Just deciding not to this time. Might be feeling behind. Might realize, you know, I have silver arrows and gold swords, so there's no point. You know, if you don't need to check that post Moldorm chest, then there's really no need to do it.
And I'm not sure what just happened with Thorneto. He fell off the ledge right outside of Ganon's tower, and now he's having to go back around to the Turtle Rock portal.
I was not watching. He may have just dashed off by accident or something.
Yeah, he got the door open, and I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe he tried to dash turn up the stairs and went down instead.
All right, Whitty on to Ganon's phase 2. Definitely getting enough slashes in there with the gold sword. You only need 6 slashes, but he's making sure he gets those 6.
Yeah, making use of that cape that he found in the tower. Skipping right around those fire bats.
Yeah, VinceEaster confirming that he accidentally dashed down. Thorneto accidentally dashed down past Ganon's tower. Alright, we're seeing right side so far. And we're going left side. Bummer. We'll see what Thorneto does after this left side check.
Meanwhile, Whitty on to phase 4 already. Just 4 silver arrows, 3 silver arrows away.
Ooh. A little trouble getting set up here.
Yeah, maybe trying to set up for a double or triple there and just missing their window, but nicely set up for a double here.
Boom, there it is. Let's get those GGs in chat.
Yeah, GG to
All
Whitty.
right.
The official
Yes,
finish
congrats to Whitty.
time, 1:58:08.
Mhm. The timer continues, but that is the official time.
Yeah, I don't think I ever remember to turn my own timer off until at least 2 minutes beyond.
I feel very satisfied by hitting the key on my keyboard for it, so I always make sure I hit it. All right, and we are joined by Whitty. Welcome, Whitty. GG.
I'm surprised I won that.
Yeah, congrats on the win.
No, I think it's okay.
Yeah, so what are your first impressions of the seed so far?
Well, the seed was, I mean, it was fine. If you, I mean, going to the swamp is not a bad play. Doing everything else might have been a bad play, like I did. What a really bad play is dying twice in Pod Dark Maze is a bad play. But I don't know. It was great. The I can't believe the I knew I was losing, so I thought, why not YOLO tile room? I don't know if I was losing or not, but
we laughed. So to give you some perspective on where things stood, when you entered Turtle Rock, Thorneto was a little bit behind you entering Turtle Rock. You had that kind of weird situation with the chain chomps where you were, use the Samaria block and you ended up like pushing it a little bit and it kind of threw off your timing in that room, and you died in there. And then Thorneto pulled ahead of you a little bit there. You checked Mimic Cave and got flippers, and Thorneto did not do that. So Thorneto, yeah, we think so. We think he must have mismarked something because we were remarking several times during this race how his playstyle was very thorough and checking as much as he could, and yours was a little bit more. I don't think scattered is the right word, but a bit more skip heavy.
More selective.
Scattered.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest. What was going through my mind was once I had my pod debacle, I was kind of a little tilted, So I was just going random places. I didn't know what I was doing, but yeah.
Well, it worked out. I mean, you built quite a lead in terms of number of crystals, and Thorneto was able to make some of that back up. He had gotten the flute very early.
Yeah, when I got that
Eastern
flute,
very
I thought
early.
that for sure Thorneto would have had that way earlier than me. But yeah.
Yeah, and I do want to note Thorneto has decided to forfeit. He went left side in GT and cleared that out past Ice Armos. Made a decision like, I'm okay. I'm done.
Yes.
I'll chat with him real quick, see if we can get him in for an interview.
I will give a shout out to I was chatting with Vortex Doom on his Twitch, and I told him in my next race if I would do Dark Magician. If I got 4 keys doing Dark Magician, then I would do Tile Room, because apparently if you get 4 keys doing Dark Magician, the chances of Tile Room having a big key are actually higher than you would think.
Oh, that's really interesting. I had no idea.
So I did it, and I was like, hey, it worked. So that was pretty. I don't know, that brightened my seed. I was kind of like, even when I got to like at about like an hour 45 minutes, I was expecting Thorneto to finish at any point. Like,
yeah, and we were discussing that you had to feel like you were behind, even though at that point you had a very comfortable lead, having picked up the flippers.
I felt like I was way behind, to be honest. Like the Dark Maze catastrophe, and then last location. I mean, I don't know how I possibly could have not been behind, but forgetting to go to Mimic Cave would do it.
Yeah. I do want to shout out your perseverance on that Dark Maze, because if messing it up once feels bad, but messing it up a couple of times feels worse. So good on you for just like continuing to try it and stick with it. We're out of curiosity, were you using a map at all during that time?
I was, yes. I can do all the dark rooms in the game, I feel like, fairly easily. Of course, I messed up on the Turtle Rock dark room for some reason. I don't know why I was moving to the left at the beginning. I stopped. But anyway, But the pod dark maze is the one dark room in the game that just like is my nemesis. I don't know why. I practice it, and getting to the first chest, like I get lost somehow. I don't know, but
Yeah, your brother was kind enough to point that out to us in chat when you were struggling in the dark maze.
Yeah, I do want to take a quick moment to just shout out Thorneto for a race well run. He has decided to decline an interview tonight. That is reasonable, I understand. But yeah, I just want to shout him out as well for a good race, and hopefully for a solid third race coming up at some point during this next week.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. You just got to regroup and leave the bad seed behind, and trust that your practice will have you better prepared the next time.
Yeah. Thorneto says, quote, "Let them know I said, oops." So here I am letting you know he said, oops.
And meanwhile, Whitty putting on a suspense thriller through a lot of that seed. I think there were at least 4 or 5 times where you were down to one hit KO, going through the crabs right at the beginning, going through Thieves Town, you got down to half a heart. What was going through your mind in all of those moments where we were at the edge of our seat?
I'm only comfortable when I'm about to die, so it's my preferred state of being.
It really focuses you in.
Yes, it's the only way I actually dodge things. Otherwise, I just run into them.
That's excellent.
Nice.
So I actually go faster when I'm about to die, because then I'm actually, dodging and getting around things. That's probably not true.
Well, yeah, just want to say GG's again, like pretty solid sub 2 hour time on this seed, which could have definitely gone longer. This is a pretty tricky seed in some ways with some item placements.
The seed could have been pretty fast though. Like I got a bunch of crystals pretty fast. The only thing, like if I didn't have a debacle in the dark maze, and then if I went to Swamp Palace before doing a ton of other stuff, which it really isn't a bad play because you gotta go there anyway. It's crystal.
Yeah, it's tricky. You just got flippers, and if you've done all the other flippers stuff and they haven't really paid off, it's like, well, what's the only thing left with flippers? But at the same time, you might be thinking like, I skipped a ton of stuff earlier, and that could be bad for me too.
Yeah, I was thinking that for sure.
Yeah.
I sequence broke Ice Palace because I'm like, well, I'm missing at least the medallion. I'm missing a medallion, hookshot, and flippers. So if I find one of those things in Ice Palace, then I know that it's not behind hookshot or something like that. Or wait, I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking something about the logic. I don't know. But it wasn't going to be that much faster if I killed it.
Yeah, definitely hear that. All right, Whitty, any final comments on the seed or the race or anything else?
Overall, most of the things I was fairly happy with my execution. There's just, those things where I really messed up a bunch, but it was a fun scene. I'm glad, of course, that I won, get through the suspenseful game 3, and thank you guys for commentating, and the Restreamer and the tracker and everyone for watching. I'm sure it was a fairly entertaining one with some of the things that happened.
Yeah, any thoughts on what type of seed you'd like to see in game 3?
What type of seed?
Yeah, what type of mode?
Oh, mode. I really don't have any preference, to be honest. I just pick a random one. If there's casual boots, that would be fun, but there's none. So, and there's no key sanity, so there's just the start is basically the same. The only thing that really changes, Ambrosia has some weird things to it, but everything else to me basically feels the same.
All right. Well, we'll let you go get some rest. For sure, let us know when your next match is.
All right. Thank you guys so much for commentating.
Yeah. You're welcome. GG's again. Thank you for racing. It was fun to watch.
Thank you. You guys have a good one.
And it looks like
Indeed.
our next restream will be tomorrow night at 9 p.m. We have a fighter sword bracket match between John the Branch and ACZ, I believe is how you say it, ACZ. Yeah, that should be a good one. A standard mode tomorrow, so tune back in then.
Yeah, and just want to give a quick shout out to the Go Mode podcast team. We've got a Discord link in the chat. We also have a link to the podcast itself. Definitely listen to that. Join the community if you are not part of it yet. A bunch of good people. You can learn a lot and improve your game. I want to shout out our Restream crew. We had Jere, Dudecia. I always feel like I always say it a different way every time I look at it. We also had VinceEaster tracking for us tonight. I had Whitty and Thorneto racing tonight, so please drop them a follow. And also want to shout out my co-commentator, McMonkey. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you. I had fun as well.
All right, and I've been Verts505. I hope you drop folks a follow, and hope you see you next time on the next race. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.